it, Sarah. All day. Hell yeah.
Arm wrestling's about to take place.
Yeah.
Good evening, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. If you're feeling this content, hit that like button as well. So tonight we got a very special guest here. Some of you guys know him as the man with the ferocious hit. This man is the number 2 man in the whole North America in the 198 class, right hand. Welcome, Dan Mosier. How are you, brother?
Good. How you doing, Paul?
Doing great, brother. So first wanted to start off with your basics. Just wanted to get your stats, your height, your weight, and your age.
So I'm 5'10", I weigh about 218, and I'm 44 years old.
Very nice. And where did you grow up, Dan?
Most of my life, I lived in Kentucky, and then I moved to Ohio for about 14 years, and then I've been in Louisiana for about 9 years now.
Okay. And when did you first start arm wrestling?
Very end of 2011. So
And,
I've been doing it for about 11 years now.
And how did that all come to be?
A friend of mine I used to work out in the gym with, he talked me into going to the Ohio State Championship and ended up going and competing in the novice class. And I won that. So he tried to talk me into going to pro class, and I jumped into pro class and about got my arm broke off. So wanted to learn how they were that strong and how to get better at it.
What was your weight at that first tournament?
I was 176. Actually weighed 178, and I didn't even know about weight classes, so I competed in a 198 class and won that. So I was 2 pounds too heavy.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, brother, to come out winning right away.
Yeah, it did good. It's just I was strong, but I didn't know how to use it. I was always strong in the gym, but just didn't know how to use it at the table.
So tell me about yourself. Back in high school, did you used to play sports? Were you an athlete?
Yeah, I played baseball. I came from a small town, Eddyville, Kentucky. I lived in most of my life. So we had a class of like 62, 63 people. It was a real small school, so they didn't have any kind of wrestling or football or anything. They just had basketball and baseball. So that's where I started out at, and just moved on from there.
What position did you play in baseball?
Either usually third base or first base. I switched back and forth.
Okay, I was going to ask, are you a pitcher? And maybe that's where you developed those tendons for that ferocious hit you got.
I did used to pitch a lot too, so that might have had something to do with it.
So what do you think contributed to you coming in and seeming to have a natural gift with arm wrestling from the beginning? Was it something that you did, sports? Was it a work that you did?
I think it was mainly from all through elementary school and high school, always trying to arm wrestle with everybody. And I think it kind of helped build the tendons and ligaments and connections and all that to begin with. And then I've always squeezed hand grippers and tried to, hold credit cards and pennies between the handles and see who could hold it the longest and all that silly stuff when I was in high school and middle school. So I think that all helped a lot in getting the hands strong and building up the connections and stuff rather than just the muscles.
And when did you get into fitness, bro? Because I mean, since I've been in this sport, man, I can't believe what you look like, bro. You are just a specimen. I mean, just completely jacked, bro, and ripped as hell. So most arm wrestlers don't look like that. So was it your fitness background that got you looking like that?
Yeah, I've always I kind of wanted to get into bodybuilding when I was younger, like some type of fitness or something, but I got this torn bicep and stuff. So I'm not going to be the same on both sides. And that's why I like arm wrestling so well, because you don't have to be a certain height or look exactly the same on both sides or be any certain percentage of body fat or any of that. So anybody can be really good at it. If you just put in the time and the effort, you can go as far as you want if you got the time and the effort to put into it.
So 11 years ago was when you first started. And now that first tournament, was that the first time you were actually on an arm wrestling table?
Yep. I'd never even seen a real arm wrestling table before that. So
So
it was
what
a big
happened
shock
after
to me.
that first tournament now? Did somebody, did you get mentored? Did somebody take you under the wing? Like, how did it all start? How did the practices start? How did you start getting really, really into it like you are today?
So I met Bill Arnold and Greg Arnold. They're from Ohio. J.J. Jones, another guy from up there, and Cobra Rhodes was there. Tommy. There was several guys there that are still in the sport, but they haven't really stayed into it as much. But Cobra Rhodes was the main one that kind of took me in and helped me the most, got me started into it. And then I used to go train with Cobra for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, a year. I don't know how long, but used to go to his house and train. And he helped me get started and taught me all the things to do and not to do, and helped rip the skin off my elbows and tear the skin off my hands a few times and all that. So he gave me a fast forward in the sport. So I owe him a huge thanks for where I'm at today. And then he also introduced me to Craig Touye. So that's how I ended up moving to Louisiana and all that. So it's been a long road.
Wow, that is an amazing story right there. Just to get mentored by Cobra Rhodes, which what a legend in our sport. And for you subscribers that don't know, Cobra was one of the best top rollers to ever live. He also was on Game of Arms, was one of the superstars on that show. Amazing person. If you ever get to meet him, what a great character. Funny as hell also. Other sports that you really got into? Anything that other than arm wrestling and baseball?
I used to do a little bit of grip training, just trying to build my hands and fingers and all that, but never really got serious with it and did any competition or anything. And then once I started arm wrestling, I realized the grip training was hurting my elbows, and I had to stop doing that. So it's really good for hand control, and it does contribute to arm wrestling, but it also hurts my elbows when I do it. So I had to pick and choose the one I thought was going to get me the furthest.
Wow. And why does the grip training hurt the elbows? Is it the tendons in the
I'm
elbows?
not sure, but a lot of people try to squeeze those heavy grips, the captains of crush and all that stuff. Every time I try to do that and squeeze really, really hard, it gets the tendons fired up in my elbow. So I had to back off of that, because squeezing your first opponent is not really as important as squeezing a guy in a final. So you need to make sure that you have the endurance to be able to hold on in the finals, rather than crush the first guy at the table and then lose your grip for the rest of the matches.
Would you say that is one of your strongest points would be your hand control, the power of your hands?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now, as far as training for arm wrestling, how does that look for you?
I use mostly resistance bands. I do a lot of static holds and cable exercises for side pressure and top roll, and a lot of supination and pronation exercises. But for the most part, our practices are, 2 to 3 hours every Sunday. So I get more out of the practices than I do the actual gym part of it.
Now, how many days a week are you training specifically for arm wrestling?
It usually depends on when I'm home. So I train on the road. I use resistance bands and stuff at the hotel when I'm working on the road. But other than that, I'll usually train in my home gym for 2 to 3 nights a week at the most. But I feel like the actual table time's way more important. Has helped me a lot more than the gym training has.
Okay.
It's great to be strong, but you have to know how to apply it at the table,
Now, how many times a week are you doing table time? Once a week, or are you doing more than that?
We do it every Sunday at either my place or some of the guys on our team. So it's every week, unless there's a tournament coming up, and then we skip a week or so to make up for that. Let yourself have time to heal up,
All right. So you're doing 2-3 days a week of arm wrestling specific training. You're doing once a week table time. Now, what about, are you doing any other lifts in the gym, like fitness and just to keep the body in shape?
No.
So, bro,
Just
how do you
I
look
do a
the way
lot
you do?
I try to do just a variety of exercises at the house. I do curls and do some delt raises and a bunch of lat pulls and just different types of exercises. But I don't have a set routine. It usually depends on how sore I am and how tired I am from work is how much I can actually do. So
Bro, you got
it's
some
just I gotta
genetics, my man. Something going on there, bro. Or you found a magic pill or something, because,
I try to
wow.
I try to halfway eat right, but that's why I'm not cutting weight for this weekend. It's hard to diet during crawfish season, and we got so much good food in Louisiana. It's really hard to stay on a fitness routine.
So what are you at right now?
I'm like
Weight-wise?
218.
218.
Yeah.
Can we see a double bicep pose?
Oh, I ain't got nothing to show. It's fat right now.
Yeah, all right, brother. You're looking jacked. Oh my
Just
God.
tired out.